This is Larry at Hagemeister Enterprises. We've got a starter here we need to inspect. We had a customer that returned this starter. It looks like by the paperwork here, this was bought back in April 16th, 2015. It's a new Bosch 24 volt 0001 510 039. It's on some kind of a stationary engine, we're not sure. Basically the report says that please inspect, repair, exchange Bosch starter 0001 510 039 is needed. This should be under warranty. It only had 71 starts on the starter. If you have any technical questions, please give us a call. They're complaining about the starter clicking, so it's always a question in the auto electric business when it comes to starter clicking. So first of all, a starter is energized by electricity, which takes electrical energy and turns it into mechanical energy. This is the mechanical end, this is the electrical end. This mechanically comes into the flywheel, and electrically the starter starts to turn to start the engine. If the flywheel is damaged, if the ring gear has problems, whatever that may be, then we've got a mechanical click. It's not engaging, it's a mechanical click. If there's a problem in the solenoid end, like on this starter, then that's the electrical problem, which the electricity is not happening to make the mechanical connection across the points to make this thing turn over. So we received the starter back. Here it is, and customer says there's 71 starts on it, it just clicks. So the next thing we need to do is put it in a test stand like we have here. We've got our cables here. We're going to hook it up and go ahead and test it. So I've got right here, I've got 26.1 volts. That's my hot cable, and there's my ground cable, and here's my activation wire. So the customer complains that it clicks, so we need to test this thing and see what's going on. So let me get a jumper wire here, up here. This center pin, center stud, is our engagement wire from the switch or solenoid that they have activating this starter. So we're going to just put our voltmeter right here, read our voltage, and let's go ahead and see what it does here. Make sure I'm clear of the drive. Put this up here. See what that does right there. 20 volts, 20.2. There's no click. The static run voltage is about 20 volts. Now I want to make a demonstration here for people that are diagnosing these starters, any starter, to find out what's wrong with it. I'm going to take this positive cable off here, and we're going to have this positive cable unattached to this starter, and I'd like you to see what happens when that happens. So let's go ahead and just carefully take this off because it is hot, and we're going to put this up here, and we still have our voltage in the thing, 25 point in the battery, 25.5. Now watch what happens when I go ahead and try to start it without that on there. There's your click right there. No engagement, no nothing. But this battery cable's open circuit. Now we didn't get any information as far as what was tested or what was not tested. And so when the customer says, well, it just clicks, that's just a real wide open window for us and them to determine what's wrong. So several factors need to be checked here. Number one, what's the voltage doing here when it's clicking? What's the voltage doing here when it's clicking? Make sure the ground is adequate, because this starter has an insulated ground. This body doesn't ground, it's insulated here. So that's real critical to make sure this unit is grounding. So now we're kind of in a problem because we can't find anything wrong. The starter is functioning, everything's working normally. It clicks out, it activates. So the next thing I'm going to do is take this end cap off and let's inspect the inside of that and see what that looks like. Let's just remove this. This is the cover housing, which is over the the solenoid contact assembly, which all that's done right here. So to look this thing over, he's right, it probably is only 71 starts. There's no heat damage, there's no overheat of any kind. Inspecting this thing, I went ahead and disabled my battery. Everything really feels really good. Everything is connected. So let's go ahead and I see nothing burnt, nothing hurt. The contacts flow freely. I see nothing burned. So let's go ahead and put the power back to it while this is open and see what happens. So, got our voltage back, 20. Everything seems to function normally. No excessive amp draw. The contacts in here are doing their job. I can't see any heating of any kind. So I think about all we can do is maybe put some lubrication in here. We use a product called Moisture Barrier, which is this product right here. Very good stuff. The biggest thing about this, it's not flammable. It's a lubricant and a dielectric protectant, and we will put this in some of the areas of this starter to make sure that we have enough lubrication. Very critical on what I'm doing, because you don't want it flammable. That's a big key. And this product is a dielectric protectant and lubricant. So having done that, we'll check our connections. Everything's flowing freely. I can't see any problems with this starter. And again, it's brand new, just like they said. So double check our fittings. Everything's tight. Nothing's overheated. We're just going to have to do some more inspecting and make sure that this unit is getting enough battery power, getting an adequate ground, because we just can't see anything wrong with it. We'll reassemble the thing and reassemble the starter. They can check it out and put it back on the machine, because everything looks really brand new inside. So we reassembled the starter here over the solenoid assembly. We added the moisture barrier as a lubrication and a dielectric product on the inside of the solenoid. We got our voltage back up here. We're going to watch the drive come out after we've done that test. Seems to come out just fine, no issues at all. When you inspect the drive assembly, you can see the shininess here of how far it's went into the flywheel, which is perfect. It's not bottomed out here. It has not bottomed out here. And this indicates the engagement, which is just perfect. It's not total depth. Everything mechanically looks good. The clutch is real tight. Cannot see one reason why this starter would click. So that leads us to the electrical testing of what we're going to need to do here. I've got the cables up here in this stand, and obviously I'm not turning over an engine, but this is the best we can do without an engine. Got to check our cable going in. Voltmeter should be put here. We do a voltage drop test on this cable and make sure it's holding up. We do a voltage drop test on the ground, because this is an insulated starter on the ground side. And then we also do a key on power test here to make sure we are getting enough power. If we don't get enough power here, the starter won't engage. It may just click. I can't simulate that because I use a jumper wire, and on the machine they could have too small a wire. Something could have changed there, but there's really nothing I can find wrong with this starter without doing any more. We've done about all we can, and it's even more of an issue because the starter's not that old. If it was a really old starter, I'm sure we could go in there and find some things wrong, but this starter is just in premier condition. Can't really see a thing that we can do for them to make this starter, it's doing its job.